Hi, this is Mike Hawkins, Web Director here at Einstein Industries. I'm joined today by Chris Obermiller to review some of the revisions that we've made to your website. So first off, we're going to talk about some site-wide changes and then review each one of the layouts: the welcome page, the education page, the lab page, and the private practice page. So Chris is going to start off by reviewing some changes that cover the entire website and all of the different layouts contained within there.
Hi, so as Mike said, first I'd like to go over changes that have been made that you will notice throughout the site that are overall changes. One of the fixes is we changed this established in 1997 subheader to be the correct date and include both doctors. So that's something you'll notice in all the sections of the site. We also changed the section titles up here: education, laboratory, and now it's private practice instead of patient care. And we've also changed the subtitle here, quality-oriented solutions. We switched the welcome button up here to say, what is EP? And now the reason we did that is we wanted a more descriptive title that people would actually click on more. We felt that something being titled welcome doesn't necessarily entice people to click it, and the title what is EP is a lot more descriptive of what this page is. It really does tell you overall what the practice does, all three branches, and just gives you a nice overview of the page. So we feel like that's a much more clickable link. We also changed the input area, which is this area here on all these search forms, to be unique to each section. So the education one, for example, will talk about things you can search for in the education section to kind of cue users that that search is going to be pretty unique to that section, and also to just kind of entice them to use it and give them suggestions for what they can search for in each section. Some of the overall aesthetic modifications is we brought out that search bar more. Now it pops up a little bit above and has a nice little shadow because we really think that's going to be a useful feature of the site. Another thing you'll notice throughout is that we've styled this contact form a bit more to just make it stand out a bit and a little more message-like with these interesting edges and a little pattern on the back. Overall, you may notice just a couple of adjustments to buttons and shadows and things like that from the earlier version, and we're just pretty much fine-tuning it. Let's go ahead and review changes that are specific to the welcome page. So some of the aesthetic modifications, I know we had talked about incorporating a sort of book flipping or some sort of adjustment here that was going to make it a bit more interesting and make users want to pay a bit more attention to it. I still would like to put some sort of slideshow here and fading between images. I think that's great, or even a video if we could do that for the homepage, one that's very all-encompassing about the practice. As far as having a slideshow or that sort of functionality, it just seemed to end up making I tried several options and they seemed to make the site end up looking a bit sloppy and kind of lost its professional feel overall with things like a fan or images scattered or some sort of like book flipping feature. It just kind of took away from the overall professional feel of the site and just ended up making it look a little bit dated. So I decided not to include that, and I look forward to hearing what you guys think about that whole thought behind it. As far as materials, one thing I know we talked about earlier is replacing these images. You guys, I think, had a couple ideas of things you'd like to see here instead of the ones I've selected, and in general some of them are blurry and need to be switched out anyways, so if you could provide us with those images, that would be great. Alright, let's go ahead and head into the education section. So some of the adjustments we've made here is we've separated the facility and faculty links in the navigation so that they're not so close to each other and don't look like duplicates anymore. We've also removed resources from the navigation as well, per your request, which I think makes a lot of sense. We've changed the recession buster incentives wording in this opening paragraph here to just say promotional incentives instead. Some of the aesthetic modifications you'll notice on here is that we've switched to a more descriptive testimonial area with less focus on the cycling through and the volume of dentistry testimonials you have, and instead providing quick overviews with very good descriptions. Now they still can cycle through this with this control here, but now we feel like it's a lot more focused and a lot easier to absorb, and we're not overwhelming the user with a bunch of thumbnails and everywhere. and then we have an opportunity to really talk about it a bit more and really kind of guide the user. So we thought this was a better way to go with this. As I said, alluded to earlier, we added descriptions to these testimonial thumbnails, and obviously these could say all sorts of things. I find that a nice, cool, unique feature to each thumbnail to have it say something different, like log 50 hours or residency graduate. So obviously the opportunities of things you could put in there are pretty interesting. We changed the upcoming courses area to be a bit more simple and easy to read and overall easier to use. Some of the things you'll notice is before it was in it showed 6 different courses and sort of 3 at a time, where it was in blocks similar to these. Now what we've done is we've made it a nice longer format, and this is good for a few reasons. First of all, it suits the longer titles better. Often your guys' courses are pretty long labels, so with this it's not nice and easy to read. With the other one, it was getting to 3 lines and it's just getting to be a little overwhelming. Another benefit of this long format is that we're able to include longer descriptive subtitles, such as instructor names, which I think is a great feature as well. Showing 3 at a time as opposed to 6, which is how it was in the earlier version, we feel like it makes it a bit easier to absorb and really focuses it a lot. Sorting is also a new feature that's included in here, and what I mean by that is by default it's going to show just any recent course, like ordered by recency, obviously, which most recent being up here, and then our newest, most upcoming one being here, and then the one that's later, and then one that's even later, regardless of if it's a one-day course or a multi-day course. But we'd like to allow the user to really filter it down if they choose, and so we've provided, if they click one day, then it'll show the soonest upcoming one-day courses, and same with if they click multi-day, it'll change to just show the 3 upcoming multi-day courses. The descriptive area to the left here provides a bit more assurance about what the courses are exactly like, and also opens up the opportunity to include these accreditation symbols to really bolster the credibility of the courses overall. As far as materials and things we could use from you guys on this page, we've pretty much filled it out for the most part. I do know that you guys have particular things that you've changed in some of the other text blocks, so I wanted to let you know that we have put in text here, but obviously if you guys could review it and let us know if there's anything that you wanted to adjust or change on these, that would be great, and we can go ahead and modify those for you. All right, well, let's go ahead and move to the lab section. Now in this section, some of the adjustments we made is we changed the Premier Laboratory. We've added that section in here, and we've removed the aesthetic zone per your request. Some of the aesthetic changes you'll notice is we made these buttons a bit more clickable and added arrows. I know you mentioned in passing that you were curious if there were links, and that really stood out to me as like maybe they really should stand out as links more, so I added these little arrows to kind of emphasize that yes, these are clickable. As far as materials, you guys mentioned that this was not your most up-to-date list of services, so if you could provide us with the most up-to-date one, that would be great, and we can go ahead and put that in here for you. All right, let's take a look at our private practice page. All right, some of the fixes we have on this one is we changed it from qualified patient care, which is what it said up here previously, to patient-focused dentistry. You also notice that we've placed the 2 doctors at the top of the page and provided some separation between them. So they're still recognized as a unit working together at working in tandem, I should say, at aesthetic professionals, but now we at least have some separations between the 2 doctors here. We also added a video testimonials area for patients per your request, and it's got a very similar functionality to the one on education. We removed the I refer piece that was on this page, and instead we wanted to focus a bit more on the smile gallery, which is visible here. Another advantage of this format is that where they're in like 3 blocks and they have this description here on the left, is that we can really provide a nice consistent user experience. So once they'll use one of these, when they run into it again on the education page or anywhere else, they really know how to use it. And so it's nice that we can keep the before and after section very similar in format to the patient testimonials, so it's just really easy to use for the user. As far as materials we could use from you on this page, short blurbs about the doctors. Now, I know you mentioned you had really specific ideas for these areas right here, so if you wanted to review what we currently have and if there's revisions you'd like to make to these, or if you'd like to write whole new ones, that's fine. Just go ahead and if you could provide us with that, that'd be great. And I believe we did send you something with character counts for each of these as well. I will make sure we can resend those to you just so you have them. Again, if you'd like to modify this patient testimonial or before and after area too, if you could review that and let us know. If you'd like to change the wording on that a bit, we can definitely do that. One thing I mentioned earlier that I wanted to cover is I just want to point out that this has received a bit more attention. So now these look a bit more like blog posts. We've also changed the title to be more descriptive of each section's blog. And also you'll notice we have consistency here. We've added the arrows so that these stand out as links. Now looking at the detail page, hasn't changed too much, just received a little bit of attention to details up here. This is now a little bit cleaner than it was. And we've changed the recession buster incentives statement that was here to now be a nice button talking about promotional incentives. So overall, I'm really excited about how the site's coming along. I think it looks great. I'm very proud of how it's turning out. If we could just tie up some of these loose ends as far as if there's any other adjustments or some of the materials we were missing from you guys that we could use to just kind of really finalize this thing, I think it'll be great. So as soon as we tie up all those loose ends, I think we'll be ready to go. And I'm excited to see this thing start getting built and see it live online. Thanks.